what is going on, everybody? This is your YouTube overlord, fucking Beanie Semantics, back with another player review, and we're just finishing off the review from the other day, so today we're going to be doing the hitters, and let's get into it. Okay, starting out, we have the 87 Wade Boggs, and he's a third baseman with no power, so that is not that valuable. Plus, he is a Yankee, so fuck him. Guys, these are going to be a little quicker, by the way. There are a lot of guys I got to get through, and I don't want like a fucking 45-minute video. So, third baseman, no power, pretty good defense. He's a Yankee, fuck him. I'm going to give him a fag of a 5.9. Next up, we have the 83 Billy Butler, and this card is actually a really good hitter, especially against lefties. He doesn't have any power against righties, so he's probably a guy that you would want to platoon with a lefty or something like that if you are in the need of like a budget team or something. But against, you know, in like events or something, he could be really useful as like a guy to get your overall down but still play, you know, almost like a high gold or a diamond or whatever. He's a really, really good hitter. His defense is just fucking garbage, though. But I don't really care about that at first base. I'm giving him a fag of a 6.6. Next up, we have the 88 overall Brian McCann. And as a Braves fan, super excited about this card. He has 85 wait, what? No, 67 contact, 62. What the fuck? This card is terrible. Brian McCann was never this bad in real life. What the hell? Okay, I guess his defense is kind of good, but what the hell? His hitting is terrible. Brian McCann has never been this terrible of a hitter, even in 2010. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Fuck this card. I'm pissed off now. He gets a fag of 5.2. Next up is Rickey Weeks, everyone's favorite former Southern University Jaguar. Probably the only person to ever come out of that university and make over $50,000 a year. No, that's wrong. I shouldn't say that. Rickey Weeks is a good guy. Southern is a good university. I'm just kind of pissed off at him, kind of salty that whenever they say, because at Southern Miss, we call Southern Miss Southern, but everybody gets it fucking confused because of that dumbass university down in Baton Rouge. So I'm kind of salty. I'm going to give him a 5.9. It would be way, way, way higher if not for the fact that his school stole our name. So, fuck you, Rickey Weeks. Fuck Southern. And, yeah, 5.9. Okay, now I'm going to get a little more serious about the player reviews because the players are better. Those first few guys really aren't all that important or whatever. But this 95 Omar Vizquel, a lot of people really hate this card. They really do. I don't hate it that much. I think if you're a person who really likes like that Ozzie Smith card, a guy with speed and defense and a switch hitter, I think that this is just a much better version of that card because he can hit both sides of the plate basically equally as good. And he's a switch hitter. If you're looking for a leadoff type guy and you don't have a lot of stubs to spend or whatever, grind up and get this card because he could be worth it. I don't think it's terrible. Now, it definitely, with the lack of power, it definitely isn't great. But he's great at everything else, and power isn't everything. I mean, you know, it's hard to get a super high score if you don't at least have some power, but if you're good at everything else, I think it definitely makes you a well above average card. So I gave him a fag of a 7.0. Next up is a Chase Utley card, and a lot of people were also hating on this card, and I don't get it. I understand that it would be better if he was 76-95 versus righties, and then 71-81 versus lefties. I would definitely prefer that, but I mean, he's really competent against righties, and you don't have to platoon him. He is like the first truly balanced second baseman that we've had in this game, and I like this card, guys. He plays good defense, he has some speed. I think that this is a guy, even if your team is OP, if you don't want to play your creative player at second base and all your other positions are filled or whatever, I think this is probably your guy. I know that maybe you could platoon like Cano with somebody. Maybe you go with Sandberg and figure that out, Kinsler. But I really like this card, and I think that it is one of the top 3 second basemen in this game. I almost think there's no way that it's not. So I gave him a fag of an 8.2. Next up is the 96 Dale Murphy card, and man, golly, I hate platoon cards this year. I really do, because it just takes so much of their value away. Last year, this would be like one of my favorite cards in the game, because you could figure out, like, it, you know, or like before the game, you could figure out whether or not it was right to play him. Now this year, it's just like basically a crapshoot. Like, you're just hoping that you get a righty, right? But if you do get a righty, this guy is one of the best cards in the game. Like 96, 96, 73, like that is elite for an outfielder. He has great defense to go along with it, a monster arm. He can play any corner. He can play center field. He's going to be hosing people all day, and he has some speed. He's going to steal bases for you. His speed is going to be very kind of reminiscent of like David Wright, Ian Kinsler, probably more Ian Kinsler than David Wright. But he's going to be stealing some bases for you. I like this card. I just wish he didn't have the platoon splits, so I gave him a fag of a 7.9. Next up, we have the 97 overall Cliff Floyd card, and this card is a balanced outfielder that does hit, both sides of the plate very, very well. But the thing about this card is his defense is just so bad. But he does have some speed. He's not going to be a great fielder for you. You're probably going to have to hide him at left field, maybe play him at first base if you don't really mind the defensive hit. But as a this guy is a great hitter. As a hitter, I said as a fielder, but as a hitter, this guy is a great hitter. Did I say as a fielder again? I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know. But yeah, he's a great hitter, and you know, for those guys, sometimes you're willing to take the defense, but there are so many outfielders this year that does everything great, that hits well, that plays good defense, that does all that stuff. That, like, is it really worth it to give up that defense to get this card? I'm not so sure that it is. I gave him a fag of a 7.8. Next up, we have a potential platoon candidate for the Dale Murphy, and it is the 91 overall Carlos Gomez card, and this card is very compelling. Very, very compelling. Because against righties, he's okay, 68, 71, nothing special, just pretty average. But against lefties, he's very, very good, 85, 88. And Carlos Gomez has always tended to play up from what his hitting attributes say. I don't know if it's his swing or what, but he's also blazing fast, and he has great defense. The only flaw in his defense is arm accuracy, and that really isn't super important if you use button accuracy and you're good with it. It's not going to hurt you too much. And he's going to be covering a ton of ground for you. I think this card has a ton of value, and I think it's well above average. I'm giving him a fag of a 7.6. Next up is the Mike Napoli card, and with the formula that I used, this card might get undergraded for me, just because I take like with catchers, it's the weight is 50 points to hitting, 40 points to defense, and 10 points to speed. So, you know, he got hurt pretty tough on the defense and the speed section, and he got some points, though, for the hitting, which took him above average. But I don't know. I like this card, but I couldn't grade him that high because he sucks on defense and he's not fast. So, but he's a big power bat. Like, the power is obviously his calling card. It's basically the only thing that he does well. But he's going to have a tiny PCI, but if you can get your PCI there, this guy is a power hitting catcher who could be great for you and could be really good in events where the difficulty is set to all-star and stuff. This guy could be very, very good in situations like that. So I ended up giving him a fag of a 5.8, but like I said, that feels a little bit low. Next up is the 83 overall AJ Pierzynski card, and it kind of like the Napoli felt kind of low. This one kind of feels a little high to me, but it's basically because he got a few points extra on defense and like 1 point extra on speed. But hitting wise, you know, this guy is great against righties, but you're gonna have to platoon him. Like he's garbage against lefties, but against righties, for a catcher, especially for a silver catcher, 86, 67. That's very good. That's enough to hit the ball out. That's enough to make solid contact every time. And he has good vision to go along with it, so that helps too. Plus on defense, he has the arm strength to throw out some guys. He's not going to hurt you too bad on defense. He's going to be pretty effective for you. I ended up giving him a fag of a 6.8, which is like a full point higher than the Napoli, but it's just basically how the formula kind of worked out for them. I don't know, maybe I may end up reworking my catcher formula to maybe take out speed completely. That wouldn't even really help the Napoli because his defense would have kind of graded out at the same percentage. But I don't know. I may have to figure out a way to rework that. But I do like this Pierzynski card, but I don't know if it's that much better than the Napoli. Next up is everybody's favorite cheese machine, Dee Gordon, the 90 overall Dee Gordon. And guys, a lot of people are going to hate this card. A lot of people are going to love it. They're going to drool over it. I'm kind of in the middle, but this card has a ton of value, guys. I have to recognize it. You know, he is a great hitter. He doesn't have power. He's kind of in the Vizquel kind of range when it comes to that, even though he has better contact and all that. But he has the lack of power that Vizquel has. So you may be asking, like, why is this card better? His defense isn't as good, and the Vizquel was fast too. Well, there's a difference between like 80 to 84 speed and 98 speed with 89 stealing. Like, this guy's a game. He's a game breaker whenever he gets on the base pass. Every single is basically a double and probably a triple. And he's going to be getting on base a ton if the guy really knows how to use him. He's going to be playing good defense, covering a large, area with the speed and the reaction and the fielding. This guy has a ton of value. He really does. I think that he is right up there with some of the best second basemen in the game. He's a guy that you could use on your bench as, like a pinch runner or even a pinch hitter maybe. He's great. He really is. I gave him a fag of an 8.5. The lack of power does keep him from that, super elite status, but, that speed really makes up for it. It really does. Next up is the 88 overall Jayson Werth card, and this card is a platoon guy, a guy that you're definitely going to have to, he's a guy that's going to be on your bench, and you're going to bring him in for a lefty outfielder who hits righties well, or maybe even like a Dale Murphy. This is another guy who could take Dale Murphy's spot. His defense isn't great, but he does have good arm strength, and his speed isn't terrible for a corner outfielder. It's average to above average. I ended up giving him a fag of a 7.0. I think he does have a lot of utility as a platoon type guy. So I like this card. It's just kind of there. It's just kind of meh. Next up is a guy that everybody was kind of irritated at me that I put the Diamondbacks all-time team out before the new cards came out because they just missed getting Miguel Montero. Well, I'm telling you guys, I am gonna redo the teams that I feel like need it once I'm done with everything. By the way, I'm almost done. I'm done putting together the Giants and the Dodgers. I've just got a couple other videos that I want to put out today, and then maybe tomorrow I'll put that one out. I've got a backlog that I'm trying to get to. I've been really busy lately. But anyways, this guy would have been on the team, definitely. Would have been the starting catcher. And I really like this card. I think I maybe graded him a little too high. Catcher has been it's been really difficult for me to grade lately just because it ends up skewing one way or the other based on like these tiny little things. But I do really like this card, and I think this card is really good. He's probably, right now, I can't think of a left-handed catcher that's a better hitter against righties than this guy. I may be missing someone in my head, but this guy is really, really good. 85, 79, very good. On defense, he's not going to hurt you. He's not going to, be great for you, but 80 blocking, if blocking means something, that's good. And he has an arm to throw a couple people out every now and then. I ended up giving him a fag of a 7.2. I think that's about right, but I don't know. I don't like the platoon splits. I mean, he's basically a nothing burger against lefties, so I don't know. And he's not like great on defense, so I don't know. I'm just kind of shrugging my shoulders here. I don't know on this card. 7.2 though. Next up is the 95 Andre Dawson card. We already have an Andre Dawson card that's better than this, but this card is still extremely good. He's a great hitter with great defense. I really wish he had that speed still, because then this would be a card that you didn't have to do the Nationals Team Epic to acquire. And I wish his contact versus righties was a little bit higher, but that's kind of nitpicking. This card really is great. And you know, if you can afford to go out and buy him, he's not that expensive right now. I think this is a guy that's worth having on your team. Big power hitter with a big strong arm that can cover a lot of ground. That's very, very valuable at a corner outfield position. So I ended up giving him a fag of an 8.4. Okay, and then finally, the 96 overall Gary Carter card, and this card is good, man. I really dig this card. But not as a primary catcher. He's a guy that, you know, maybe if you want Miguel Montero, you can platoon him with Gary Carter or something along those lines. He is phenomenal against lefties. Basically perfect. 99, 99, 68 vision. Against righties, your PCI is going to be pretty tiny, but he still has that 75 power to kind of get you by. And his defense is great. Like, I mean, it's not like Yadier level or anything, but 83 blocking, 85 arm strength, 80 field, like it's all pretty good. I like this card, man, and I ended up giving it a fag of an 8.2. And I feel like this is the first catcher that I've reviewed today where I've been pretty comfortable with a grade. Like, I feel like that's about right for this Gary Carter card. So an 8.2 for Gary Carter, and that is going to do it, everybody. I hope this video didn't end up going too long. I'm going to try to get it under 20 minutes. I've got another video that I'm putting out today. I've already got it like it's going to be like a voiceover gameplay because I played a crazy game yesterday and I want to do a voiceover for that so I can share that with you because it was bananas. So anyways, guys, I will see y'all later on today, but until then, peace.